Hello everyone, Burcu Onaranel Erten is here. I am the founder of JOYY LLC, an international motivational speaker, NLP master practitioner. Enough about my titles. I help entrepreneurs, coaches, and speakers to build their authentic life and brand. And I am on the Prosper Show. So, what to expect from this show? You can expect to be inspired, to have so much joy, and to hear real tears, real stories to hopefully inspire you to create your own authentic life. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch and listen us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt stuck in a life that didn't feel like your own and wondering if there was more out there for you? Well, today's guest, Burcu, knows that feeling all too well, and she turned that moment of uncertainty into a joyful journey of transformation that we're gonna hear all about. Now, Burcu, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you too? I am very great. I am great. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to chat with you.
Absolutely. I thought you were going to be saying it's all joyful because that's part of your brand. I was really anticipating that. So maybe I'm going to do it for you. Joy. That's great.
Always here.
Absolutely. Fantastic. For those that are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning into the Online Prosperity Show, where we bring you the best in the field. And today's guest, Burcu, is an international motivational speaker, NLP master practitioner, and the founder of JOYY LLC. That's where the whole joy thing is coming from. This is where she helps entrepreneurs build authentic brands and create lives that feel like they actually belong to them. Now, here's a kicker of it all. It's not all fun and games when it comes to things like this. She actually started her journey not in English, not in joy, but a lost HR specialist in Turkey. So we're going to go through all of that and explore her journey and how she actually, came to center stage and what she's doing right now. So in today's episode, Burcu is going to share her remarkable story of leaving everything she knew behind to start over in a new country, facing fears like the language barrier and cultural shock and things of that nature that happens when you go to a place where nobody knows your name. And we're gonna overcome how, we're gonna see how she overcame all of those obstacles and all the invisible lessons that she learned along the way, and how she also accumulated tools like NLP and Reiki to now help others be, do, and have either a business or a life that's of a happier existence. So I want you to stick around until the end, because you're not only going to feel inspired to take action into the goals that you have for your own life, but you also learn how Burcu's branding workshops could actually be the missing piece in your own entrepreneurial puzzle. Plus, you don't want to miss all the advice that she would give to people that are also embarking on a journey like she did. Now, Burcu, I could go on and on, and maybe butcher your brand and everything else that comes along with it. The one thing about branding people is the ability to tell a story. Tell us a little bit about your journey so far, and what it was like to be HR in Turkey.
Prosper, first of all, the way you were explaining my journey, I went through that part of my life and I thought, oh my God, it has been a journey, but it has been a joyful journey, like you're saying, really putting emphasis on the word of joy. Thank you for doing that. And oh my God, I was a human resources specialist in Turkey, like you mentioned a little bit, which was in 2013 till 2016. 3 years was enough for me to understand that wasn't what I wanted to do in my life. Even though the life, if I picture it here, can be a dream life for so many people. Having a guaranteed job, having a car, living with a family, having friends, going out, having fun, nothing is wrong. But when I was living in that dream, kind of my dream before, but it wasn't my dream, which I understood in 2015. I was managing 350 employees. I was doing recruiting, trainings, payroll, everything in HR, every single thing that you know in HR, I was doing it. So I learned everything and there was nothing left. So I wanted to become an HR manager in my early years as a dream. But in 2015, when I learned everything and thought, if somebody offered me that seat to be an HR manager, I don't want to take it. I wouldn't take it. So that wouldn't make me happy. And that was the turning point for me, a realization and feeling really lost because I was 24 and left everything to have that, built everything to be an HR manager. But now all of a sudden, it's not what I want anymore. And I started searching how I can be happy, how we can be happy as humans. That is the question I know everybody wants to understand and wants to discover what makes them happy, because you can have friends, you can have spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, or great people at work. But at the end of the day, you are with yourself. So you need to know yourself, your true self, your authentic self. That's how I call it. So if you don't know about it, how you're going to be happy? So I started asking myself how Burcu can be happy. And I couldn't find answers. So it wasn't a shiny, happy time. Like I finally realized, oh, I moved to Los Angeles, the city of angels, and everything will be great. No, it wasn't like that. It was super dark because when I was thinking this isn't my dream and I was still stuck in my job, didn't know the language, didn't know where I wanted to go, I started searching what tools can help me to understand who I was. So I found a great tool called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. If you don't know what it is, briefly, it is a tool that helps you to understand how your mind works and how you can actually program your neurons with your language. It's neuro linguistic programming. So we can actually program our mind, our thoughts, our beliefs. I know the way I say it, that was me years ago when somebody told me, oh, NLP changed my life. It's helping you to understand. And I'm like, oh, really? I know maybe you're thinking this way, but it is really, you can't understand unless you experience something. You need to experience and then see, oh, okay, it's really helping me to make clear decisions, understand what I really like and why I do what I do. I love Simon Sinek's point on that, why it is so important. And the reason why I have a second Y at my company's name, it's not just Joy, it is Joy with two Ys. The second Y I put there is to remind myself and the people who come to my business, my world, to understand that is the why. Oh my God, yes, I need to remind this myself. There's always a reason why I do what I do, both in my personal and professional life. So, coming back to my story, I took NLP trainings, learned how to do hypnosis with language, how I can make better decisions, how NLP really works. And I also became professional and motivational life coach. I took the second training of NLP, became an NLP master practitioner. So in that training, I found what I really want to do in my life. And that was the second scary part. First, I felt lost. And then the second scary part was I wanted to become an international motivational speaker and own a business and do this in English in the United States. And when I had this dream, I was in Turkey, not speaking English, not knowing anyone in the US, and obviously not having a job in the US as well, and no clue how to open a business in another country across the world. So people called me crazy. I even called myself crazy to even dream that and how it could happen. So I started searching how it could happen in the place I was in. And I found the tools and people who were a great guidance for me. So I quit my job in March 2016. And in just 3 months later, I was in the city of angels, Los Angeles. And I went through language schools, and then I got acceptance from University of California, Irvine. So I moved to Orange County after living in Los Angeles. I worked with amazing people, entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches. I went through Tony Robbins, Brandon Bouchard, Kyle Cease, Gabrielle Bernstein. It was amazing to witness their journey and went through their transformational trainings, walking on the fire, finding out what else is possible for me. And it was truly a dream coming true. And at the same time, it wasn't never easy because I was all by myself, not speaking the language. Just imagine first couple of months, I was just looking at people. It's very hard as a person. Maybe Prosper, you can relate to this. If you really like to talk, if you love speaking, it's so hard for you to just sit here and look at people, not understanding. I was barely really trying to understand. I was opening my ear, trying so hard, I could understand if I do that. It didn't work that way. So I worked super hard to learn the language. I'm still learning. I am still working on my language because it is my second language and it is always going to be my second language. So my mind can easily go back to, let's think Turkish again. Oh, I can't put words in order. So that's something that I can share right away. Before I do any kind of show interview like this, or speaking engagements, or having someone in my own podcast. Yes, I do have a podcast called Coffee O'Clock, and Prosper will be there. So that's a short sneak peek right now. What I do is I always listen to an English music or watch a video that is English. So I set my mind into the English thinking and English hearing. So everything flows in that order. So that's a trick from NLP, because NLP really is something hypnotize you or helps you to use your mind in the most efficient way, because you understand our mind is giving us what we put inside. So that is a little bit of my story. And in 2019, I launched my company called JOYY, again with 2 Y's, in Tustin, California. It is still existing in California, but I am in Hungary because with the pandemic, I decided to relocate myself to Turkey to be with my parents. And then in 2021, I met my husband. So there it goes. And I put a comma. I don't want to say I closed the chapter of US, but I put a comma to relocate myself in Turkey. And then we moved to Hungary because he got a job here. So now we are in Hungary. And I love traveling. I love experiencing different cultures. And that's why in my podcast, I have a lot of people from all around the world. I just love being with people and sharing that it is possible that you can do whatever you want. And I am a proof, a witness that you can witness that my change. If you see me in my high school time or even in university when I was 20 years old, so I'm really talking about having a 24-year life living in a very shy person, not even raising her hand to answer a question, not speaking in front of people, to a person who delivers keynote in a second language and owns a business over 5 years. It's 6 years now. So it is possible. And yeah, I don't know what to add here, but it's been a journey.
Absolutely. I mean, this was just beautiful to listen to. I could listen to you all day, but obviously we might just run out of tape or run out of listeners because they're thinking, "Wait a minute, when is this gonna end?" But you thank you so much for living through all of that because at the end of the day, now you've got a good story to tell. But I just want to take us back to the time when you were that shy, Turkish girl, and obviously maybe America or the world was not even in the horizon at that sort of particular moment. What was life like for you? That then prompted you to say when you went to New York, you didn't miss any of that you left back.
I, you know that is something different or bigger inside of you. I always had that feeling. I always felt like a black sheep in my family and in the school. Whatever I was thinking, whatever I wanted to do was different. So, of course, I had friends, but their dream was to get a guaranteed job and get married and stay in the city they are in. And I was thinking, at that time and until the age of 33, 32, I didn't want to get married. I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't know what I want in my life. I just want to live my life. So being that person was hard because if I show you my picture in 2015 or 14, I look older. I barely smile. And you can tell this girl is not happy. Something is wrong. I just felt like I was in a hamster wheel, just doing things, the same routine. Nothing is special. I wasn't feeling successful at my job. I wasn't in front. I wanted to be on the stage. Like I wanted to feel people are seeing what I'm doing. People are acknowledging my worth and my work. So nothing was there. And all the conversations with my friends were, hmm, drinking or having just negative thoughts around life. And when I remember when I said this dream to my friends, I want to become a speaker and I will be on the stages and have my own business. They laughed at me so hard. And I was like, is it really like impossible to see that, to dream that? But they didn't believe. And it was small. That's how I felt. Like it was a small world. I wanted to do something else.
Mm. You see, obviously, society wants us to, live in a box, go to a job, drive to that job in a box, and just live within the confines of that society, pay taxes, have kids, and then die. And so many
Mhm.
people don't subscribe to that, not because they don't, find themselves belonging, but it just doesn't sit well with them, just like you went through the buju. Now, did you at least have people around you that saw that for you or in you, that at least fanned your flames? Because half of the time when society just keeps telling you no, 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 you start believing them, because that's, those are the people that are around you. But would you have had certain people you could maybe remember that kept edging you on to go live your dreams and realize your potential?
Yes, I've started following people on LinkedIn and social media who are doing what I wanted to do, even though it wasn't super popular at that time. Finding people on social media nowadays is more. I can say my mom was the first support for me. Not gonna lie, my dad was very hard to convince because I call him a modern, traditional
Mhm.
Turkish father. He's modern in so many ways, but in so many ways, he's very traditional. You're crazy. His first impression to me, are you out of your mind? You're gonna leave your job, move to the States. You have no one, you don't speak the language, you don't even have the job. So what are you going to do? You're going to be in depression. So he already created me negative stories. What's going to happen in 3 years, in 4 years? Um, Not that he didn't believe in me, he just didn't believe it is possible. He didn't know what he didn't know. So I can't blame on him, even though I kind of was angry at that time because we were sitting at the dinner table. So dinners are very important in my culture. So family get together and you talk what you want to talk. And every time he left the table with saying no. So okay, here again, no, here again, here again. So I started using NLP techniques to
You
convince him.
helped your dad.
Well, it's a pink thing, not pink lie, but it's a pink tool to use because NLP helps you to understand how you can express yourself in a better way in front of the person. So you learn techniques like mirroring, you learn things like, okay, what can really make him sad, or how can he support me, like with what values, what thoughts and beliefs I can use so he can help me. So I last conversation we had when he finally said, okay, I told him, I understand everything you're telling me. I might be in a depression. I might lose my health. I might be unemployed after this journey. I accept that. I accept. I own the full responsibility of how my life going to be in few years. But I don't want to die without experiencing this. I don't want to regret in my life. If you don't let me go, I will be unhappy for the rest of my life. So these sentences got him. There was a silence. He paused. And then I added one more killer sentence. The killer sentence was, you know, I have the money too. So I have everything I got. I only need your support. Go, my girl. That's all I need. I have everything covered. And then he was like, okay, I see. I can
Ah,
stop you.
so he was only protecting himself. It wasn't all about you. He was protecting the fact that he would have to maybe support you financially, support you emotionally when you get the depression, and then just have to support you when you come back to start all over again, and he didn't want to go through that pain. So in this instance, you nilped him so that he sees the benefit and no longer, puts a stop to what you were doing. Clever.
Thank you. He
Mm.
basically saw that I was literally unstoppable at that time. I was super clear at my decision. And here's the funny part, because this is what happens in human mind, at least for me it is. So for the audience who are watching or listening us can relate to it. When you want something and when there are obstacles for that, it is more sexy or fancy to follow it. Ah, you don't want it? No, I want it. I will get it. I will show you. This is the mind, the survival mind we have. I will show you. And when you get it, so the realization I had when my dad finally said yes to me, the next morning I was like, fuck, now I am going. I don't know anyone. What am I going to do? I started feeling the fear. Maybe the fear he or other people was implementing in me subconsciously. I had that. I started feeling a little bit of fear. But then I flushed it out and prepared my trip and everything. And when I left him and my mom at the border at the airport, he cried. And it was the first time for me seeing my dad crying. And that moment was hard for me. And your mind plays games to you. That's why I want to share this too, even though it's very emotional for me. But your mind tries to play games in your heart, in your life. So, whatever that happens, my mind started telling me, what the hell are you doing? You're leaving your family for something that you don't even know it's going to turn out something good. And you have no clue how to make it happen. You have no one. You're going to the unknown. And of course, I started crying too, but I didn't show it to them. I just waved and just run to the gate. But I was crying all the time. I couldn't even see what was around me. I was just pouring rain. It was like a pouring rain. But then when I sat on a plane, and this is a feeling I dreamt, and that's how powerful the exercises with NLP is. I felt so free and so peaceful in that seat because I was finally owning my own life and doing something for me with my own power.
Wow. I can only imagine. And, very few people get to experience that. Having to leave, going to a new place, and also that separation with your loved ones, and also having to solicit such emotions. Some people would never really treasure that because obviously, if you were going to come back, you were going to start from the point where you and your dad sort of parted. And yeah, congratulations for having chosen you, and went in there. So you're sitting in that seat, you're feeling light as a bird, you're flying. LAX. Hello. You started to speak English.
No, I was not understanding any of the announcements in the plane. So
Oh
it
no.
was a disaster my first couple of months.
Absolutely. I can only imagine. I mean, have also had to come from Africa, where, I mean, we did learn a little bit of English, but it was only just enough to pass a test. Now, you can imagine when you have to speak to somebody and they need an instant response. The only English I could speak was what I could write and wait for an answer back from the teacher having marked that it's okay. So it was one way English. Now, if you have to speak, and have you ever heard Australians speak English?
Yes.
That accent
I-
in and of itself just takes you away. So what were your first days like, in Los Angeles? It's it's the dream. I mean, Hollywood is there, celebrities are there. Did you instantly go into the movie business? What happened? Tell us.
I was living with five other girls in the apartment. So they were either doing an internship or going to the language school like me. So I was living in Westwood in Los Angeles. So it was great that we were going to concerts, going to the places, to have fun, and I was learning from them too because most of their English were better than mine. So I was hearing they speak and understanding how I can make mine better. It was a dream, really dream. Of course, I had hard times where I ran out of money or when I couldn't find where I need to go, and I didn't have a car, so it was hard to go from place to place at the beginning of my journey. So that was. Now I feel it's very far away. It's been a while, almost a decade ago. It's just amazing how time flies. I miss those
Absolutely.
days.
Absolutely. But obviously, when you're in a space, it's like a seed. Obviously, to a seed, when it's put in the ground, it feels like it's being buried, but that's how one germinates. And, when you're completely outside of your comfort zone, you make do with everything else that comes along with it. So, when did you then start to feel like, hey, you're no longer just in survival mode. At least you're now finding your way. You know how to order coffee without spilling it all over yourself, in just your mind. What were some of the first successes that now started validating that you are on the right path?
I would say in my first 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, I was feeling okay, I am on the right path. I can easily communicate with simple things, like you said, ordering a coffee and learning. Because I also started working with my trainer, my NLP trainer. So, my NLP trainer was living in Los Angeles. And when I moved to Los Angeles, of course, I wanted to connect with her. And then she offered me to be her marketing specialist and assistant to see the entrepreneurship life and also have some experience around that because I was already a coach and I wanted to open my own business. So it was great to learn from her and work with her. So I was doing kind of an internship with her. So that really helped me to meet more people and get on the working path to do marketing. I was never had a knowledge about marketing, so I started learning that, and that's why after my language training, English trainings, I got acceptance from the University of California in Irvine to study digital marketing, global communications, and media, social media. So I was like, this is great. I can, have this master degree and also apply all those things into my own business to promote my coaching and become a speaker. So that was my intention. So here's a funny part. You have a dream and you get clear about your dream. And if you're a spiritual person, I am, the universe also, God also has another plan for you. So your path can be different along the way. So when I really wanted to be a speaker and coach and own my business, and the universe has slightly different plans for me in my business model. So I started learning marketing, and my instructor, one of my instructors, hired me as her marketing assistant. And I already told you, my NLP trainer hired me as her marketing assistant in the first place. And then I'm like, okay, this is just something that I'm learning because my instructor was also an entrepreneur and author and speaker. And I'm like, great, I'm learning what I am becoming from these people. So it didn't stop with that. I went through speaker trainings, other trainings, and the any place I enter, it feels like a arrogant person talking, but wherever I enter, without me pitching myself, people started hiring me as their social media manager, marketing, branding specialist. I'm like, I'm a professional coach. Like, okay, I learned this. I know the knowledge of marketing and everything, and I have an experience, but that's not what I want to do. But I started liking what I do, and they started paying me, of course. I'm like, this is nice. I can learn and have this on the side. So that's how Joy Marketing and Coaching was born. So I added marketing too on the side, my coaching business. So that's how it all was built with the universe's guidance.
Absolutely. I think the reason why people wanted you in their social media side of things is because you've got this joyous energy that's contagious. And back in the time, people just really wanted likes and, fame, virality, and things of that nature. So when you would show up to a space, the fact that you had no baggage or you had literally your back against the wall because you knew no one, you literally would show up in that sort of space. But how did you then tap into this? Obviously, it's an authentic way of being that, you didn't care where you were, you didn't care who you were, you just showed up in that authenticity and people gravitated to that. And why do you think it's such an important part when you're building a personal brand?
Because you are your brand every time. When you are in a business meeting, when you are at a coffee shop with your friends, you are your brand every time you show up in the world. And the reason why I say that, because people, I'm going to say the quote I love by poet Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I always add one part on this quote because to me it misses something, which is your feelings are the essence of your authenticity, the core of who you are. Embody them fully because they hold the power to transform your life and the world around you. So you always need to go back, your true self, whatever you like, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to wear. And you're not changing you because of what others think about you or what others might feel about you. You care about what people feel about you because that is the brand. But first, you need to feel good and then show up. If I didn't feel good today, I wouldn't be here speaking with you because I know I wouldn't be at my best version, at my personal brand, my authentic brand. I don't want to show up like that. So I need to make sure I fill my cup first. And that was the missing part in that quote. And the second part, the personal brand, is when people think, when you leave the room, what people think about you. That is what it is. The feeling you leave people. After we hang up, you will have an idea, maybe already have an idea about me, and I already have an idea about you, your personality, your brand. You have a
I want to
brand.
hear it. I want to hear what you think about me. I want to hear
You
it.
are a super funny person. I love your energy. That's what my thoughts are with you.
If you didn't say anything nice, I was gonna end the call right now. So you were lucky. But I hear you because wherever you are, there you are. And so many people just look at what other people are saying or doing or posting and try and be that, whereas that's not who they are personally. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people burnout in this space and end up just spraying and praying without actually reaching the right sort of audience. But obviously maybe somebody might be looking at this and saying, but Buju, you probably have an unfair advantage. I mean, you've worked in HR, that's, you've dealt with people already, people who don't show up at work, people that have problems, so you have an understanding of how the human sort of operates and you've navigated that. Second of all, you presented to us a tradition within the family where dinner was a sacred moment. So that alone would tell us there are other values that you would have cherished. But if you look into the first world right now, you know, I've seen kids that have a lollipop for dinner, okay, and that's fine because they chose that. And I've seen people that operate in a way that may not have the background that you have. Well, what sort of advice would you give to people who might not have the grounding that you have for you to be able to present in that sort of authentic way?
That's a great question. And I always believe everybody has their own path, like you mentioned, but I want to slightly change that into, if you really want something, if your heart wants something, you will find the resources that is going to help you. I am not luckier than you, or I am not smarter than you. I'm talking about everyone who are listening us, because it is just you feeling what you want and then really owning it and looking around you. What can be done? If you look at, I mean, Tony Robbins' life, so many other celebrities or famous people that you admire, we admire, they ain't come there with an easy path. And they didn't have the resources to be there. Most of us don't have the resources. And when I saved my money, I saved my 3-year salary to be able to make that happen. And of course, when I was in the US, I worked in so many different fields that I would never work. But because I had a bigger desire, I accepted everything. I will do whatever it takes to get there. So if you are not coming from HR background, if you don't have the resources, the money, nothing, you can start today looking what you have, literally what you have. Okay, I have one mug, I have a roof over my head, I have my job, hopefully. If not, how can I find a job? I have a friend, I can talk to Prosper, I have this. You have something. Look around you what you have, write it down, and then ask yourself, how can I use my resources before spending additional money, or before getting another degree or getting another job, before doing anything with what I have, how I can make it happen? Like, if you are a housewife or a woman, you can relate to this if you know a little bit of cooking. Okay, today I have nothing to cook. Oh, really? Look at your fridge. Like, what do you have? Oh, I have a carrot. Oh, I have one potato left. And I have a little bit of, another, I have celery or nothing else. You can make a soup. Like, you can literally use one carrot and one potato and a little bit salt and water, and you can make a soup. And that will be your meal for today. You can find something. That's why I'm like, when I work with my clients, either for coaching or branding, I hear a lot of excuses. We are the master of excuses as humans. There are tons of excuses you can make, but there are tons of opportunities you can use to make your dreams come true. And I will say one more thing as an example here. I mentioned Gabrielle Bernstein's name. If you don't know who she is, I highly recommend go check her out. She is, I don't know how many times, New York bestseller author. She has incredible spiritual books, self-help book, her last book. And I really wanted to take her training, which was a business training for, I think, 6 months or so. But that was the time I went back to Turkey. So financially, I was not in a good place and I didn't want to spend money. That was another thing. But I was literally devastated to leave everything behind in the US that I built for 4 years. That was another leaving point for me. So 4 years in the US, and I am choosing to relocate myself in Turkey because of the unknown. So I had to sell my car, close everything, trash so many things because I didn't have time because I got on a salvation flight to go back to Turkey. And I stayed in quarantine for 2 weeks in another city that I never been in Turkey. And so I really wanted that training. And I'm like, I don't have the money for that. So I email to their support team. And if you go back to our first conversation in this episode, this great show, you told me, tell us your story. So I thought, how about I tell my story to them and
Wow.
how I really need that training right now, where I already build a lot of things for my business. And this training will take me to the next level, but I don't have the money resource at that time. How can you help me? So I told my story in the email and asked them that, can you help me with either a sponsorship or maybe discount for that training? And I also did my research. I knew they give sponsorship for a couple people every year when they launch the training. So I'm like, maybe, you never know. So they emailed me back with a full giving the, like, it was free, full
Wow.
scholarship. So I was like, wow, I got it. I got it. I got
Wow.
the training. So, like, without spending money, only using me. That's why when you know what you really want and you are really putting yourself out there, truly, authentically, not trying to steal something from someone or not try to, fake it, but truly being you and putting your intention into this, into something you want, it happens.
So, how has your platforms, Joy and the Coffee O'Clock podcast, sort of, inspired people to start or be more in their lives?
So the Coffee O'Clock podcast is a platform where I allow people only to share their real stories. It's an inspirational podcast. I have people to share their expertise and inspirational stories, but I always tell them it's going to be a real conversation and I'm going to ask your hardest times when you didn't have what you have today. Are you open to chat with those things? And they usually go, I'm an open book, you can ask me anything. And some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about this certain thing. And I'm like, okay. So that is one thing I believe truly inspires people because they hear the real life stories, not shiny and happy life and, like, the Instagram profiles. We know life is nothing like that. Even though if you have the perfect Instagram profile, that person is going through a lot of things as well, still today, because we are human and life happens. So we can't fake it. We can just be there and own where we are at in our life. And at Joy, in my company, I work with entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches and individuals for the coaching part. If they really want to change their life, the funny part here is I help people to get divorced, left their companies quit their jobs. That's like the negative part, but it's not negative because if it's not aligned with them, then I help them to change it. So I believe it is helping people to be energized and do something that is true, authentic for them, both in their personal and professional life. And I need to add this as well. I talk about authenticity and I call authentic brand for my speeches and my workshops that I do for entrepreneurs. It truly is because we forget again the why, and we can caught up with the society again. Even though we have accomplished a lot, we are still tend to look for other people's life or what they might think about us. So I help them to remember, no, your life, your path is different. So your brand is this. So you ain't going that way. That's another person's brand, another person's business. Your business is this. Own it and don't worry about what people think about it, because you will attract the right people if you own who you are.
Absolutely. And for those that are seeking to own their own path and their own authenticity, what would be, the best path, or where would they go on the internet to find you?
I have my website, but I'm usually on Instagram. It is at JOYYBURCU. If you send me a DM, I am there, always responding. I have my YouTube channel. You can watch my videos where I put every week another speaking, branding, or life tip.
Fantastic. I'll definitely make sure that all those links are in the show notes so that people can definitely get a piece of that. But somebody's probably watching this, Buju, and they're just thinking, "Oh, you've achieved so much. Obviously have done all of these things. You've learned from the best and you've had the best training, and you're still creating and you're still evolving, which means you're still learning and you're still growing and things of that nature. What's next? What can people anticipate and expect from you, Buju?"
A tech talk.
Ooh. Can I sit in the front row?
Yes, please. Yes, please. And I
Uh,
am putting it out there. I haven't booked to speak at any of TED stage, but that's my goal for very soon. We'll see when it's going to happen. I'm a believer. When it's the right time, it happens. But that's something that I really want to do.
absolutely. I'll be the one person rewinding that and watching it all over the time, and then it would have a million views all from one IP address, and that.
Great. Love it. Do it.
Fantastic. What an incredible journey, Bunju. I mean, congratulations on all your successes. I mean, your life story and your experience have so much depth and value for a lot of people, such that I just wish a lot of people would, learn a thing or two from what you've shown us today, or what you have told us today, and especially that, no matter how lost anybody could feel, you could be in a dead end job, or in a job you don't want, or in a relationship, or in a town that you don't feel comfortable in. You're not a tree. You can literally move and go somewhere else where you can be, do, and have a happier existence. And there's always a path to joy and success waiting to be uncovered. I think what you've just done is given us permission to be ourselves. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for having me here, allowing me to share my story. It's been a pleasure for me to be here.
Oh, absolutely. I heard you're gonna speak on a TED Talk. I'm just, wanting the notoriety of having been, or having seen you in, in e-life, so to speak. I mean, for those that are watching right now, please help me thank Buju for her time. I think, if this episode actually resonated with you, I encourage you to share this with somebody who might need a push to take that leap in their life, or just needs that leap of faith, because as Buju did, she actually managed to move away from where she was, found herself, and then obviously still travels and is not tethered or held down by anything. Wherever her heart is, she can literally go. And that's something, that's a big gift that anyone can give themselves, because so many of us are just bogged down by society, expectations, life, our countries, and things of that nature that are just stopping us to be, do, and have a happier existence. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for all these insights that we've watched. And if you're still watching, thank you so much. For more inspiring stories and actionable strategies like what Buju has just shared with us, just hit that subscribe button and join us again next time on the Online Prosperity Show. Until then, I want you to remember that your story is your superpower and you can use it wisely. Bye for now.